Hey guys, I have some exciting news. Arturia just released Pigments 3. Now, if you want to learn more about pigments, check my channel. I have a complete course, lots of videos, and I'll put the links in the description of this video. In this video, I'm going to cover what's new in the third release of Pigments, and especially the new Harmonic Engine. Now, this is quite special because most synthesizers are subtractive, meaning we have some waveform and we remove some frequencies, we shape it, we filter it. But here in the Harmonic Engine, what we do is we have a sine wave and then its partials, and we can shape the sound in different ways, not the same way that we would do it with a subtractive synthesizer. So let's get started and see what's new in Pigments 3. Of course, if you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. I add lots of videos all the time, and you can also follow me in Facebook, Twitter, in Discord, and of course I'll put the links in the description of the video. Let's get started. This is Pigments, and I'm guessing you want to know what's new in version 3. So first of all, we have the new Harmonic Engine. Well, in Pigments we have two engines, and then we have four types. So this fourth engine type is the new thing. This is the Harmonic Engine, and I'm going to cover that in more details later in this video. Then we also have Utility Engine, which allows you to add two noise sections and another sub-oscillator, and we can just turn this on here. We also have a new filter type. If you click the filter, you'll see that we have the Jup-8 low-pass filter. That's also new. We also have new wavetables. If you select the wavetables here, you'll see that we have Pigments 3 wavetables. Lots of new wavetables to choose from. And then we also have a couple of new effects. First of all, we have the pitch delay here, and this is the pitch delay, and I'll cover that maybe in another video. And we also have the BL20 flanger. So that's an addition coming from the effects that Arturia released earlier this year. And so these are, I mean, all the new features. There are lots of other presets and things that are added, and maybe we'll cover that again in a different video. Let's go and meet Pigments Harmonic Engine. First of all, we have the two engines. We have engine 1 and engine 2. For each one, we can select different engine types. We have the analog, wavetable, sample, and harmonic. Let's listen to that. Really sounds like a sawtooth waveform, but in additive synthesis, we're starting with a sine wave in whatever frequency, and then we add the partials. And so let's go all the way to the left here, and we have just one partial. Well, we have only the fundamental here. So this is how it sounds. Just a sine wave. And now let's add more partials. Right, so that's the idea. And then we can also set the volume for the partials, and we can set a limit. Now, if you want to do something cool, you can always automate that or modulate the partials. So let's click that and set envelope 2 all the way to 1. Set the attack to just about 1 second. I'm just guessing here. Yeah, just about 1 second. And I'm going to set this back to 1. Now let's play. And I can start wherever. So that's the idea here. And if that's too slow, we can set the attack differently. And I can limit this, let's say, to 16. Or back to 64. Right, so that was the partials. Then we have smooth. So this button is really helping us to get a smooth transition, or, well, if we want to have those partials changing their amplitude more smoothly or gradually. So that's the smooth button here. And then we have the ratio section. So this is the next important section here in the Harmonic Engine. And we have the ratio, and this button sets the interval between the partial frequencies. The range goes from -1 to 5. Let's just experiment with that. Now the sound is really stopping very quickly when I lift my fingers off the keyboard. So what I want to do is I want to set the release here. And again, that's the ratio. We can actually automate that as well. So let's do that also with the same envelope. And we can start all the way to in -1. And we also have the FM modulator here. So I'm going to set this to wherever, and this will be connected to our modulator section here. So I'm not going into a lot of details in terms of synthesis theory here, but if you are into this, experiment here and see how this all ties together. And we can set the modulator to different wave shapes. For example, we have sine, triangles, sawtooth, and so on, even noises. So this is really an FM modulator, and you can experiment with that if you want to create some crazy sounds. And let's take that back to 0. Now, if you want to have that modulation just, not so, in your face, you can definitely, again, click this plus here and set this to something like, let's say, 30% or even less. So if you play with the partials and the ratio here, this will already give you a lot of tools to shape your sound. Let's go and see what else is here in this Harmonic Engine. Next, we have here in the middle the spectrum section. So the spectrums are frequencies partials that can be superimposed on the raw partial series. So you can further sculpt the sound. Now Pigments lets you apply 2 spectrums to the partials and then morph between them. So you see this here. This spectrum A, and this is spectrum B. And you can just select for each one, and then you can use the morph to morph between them. And so then we have 3 knobs. So we have the section, the morph, and the depth. So the section, this will shift the position of the spectrum over the partial series, and that will change the partials that are affected. And then we have morph to morph between the spectrum slot A and 2. And then we have the depth. Well, this knob controls how much the spectrum affects the frequencies of the partial series. So you need to experiment with that because, well, I can talk about it all day, but then it's all about experimentation and the sound itself. Right, so next we have some other controls here. We have the shape. So let's go over the shape. We have the tilt, and we have the tilt offset here. And so this is also very interesting parameters to experiment with. The tilt will adjust the steepness of the slope. The tilt offset will change the partials where the slope begins, and then we also have the parity here. So this parity will change the portion of the odd numbers and even numbered multiples of the partial series. So again, this is really in-depth stuff, but you need to experiment. And I think the very last item here to experiment will be the imaging here. So we have imaging section on the right. This will give us different stereo imaging of the partials. So we have three options. We have split, random, and periodic. So these are definitely different ways to send the partials left and right. I'm not going into much details here, but you can, for example, go for split and then just send the partials to either left and right. And you can already see this here in this analyzer here. Very interesting. So next we have something else. We have the partial modulation section, and this is on the left here. We see window, so it's not just window. If you click this, you'll get three options. We have window, cluster, and shepherd. So the window, well, that's as its name implies, lets you set a given window within the partial series and then adjust the volume or apply FM modulation on that window itself. So if you select that, you'll see that we have the position, and then we have the window size, we have gain, and so on. So you can actually have the modulator effect, that or the gain and the FM modulator. Very interesting stuff here. And then we also have the cluster mode. So this will bring the partials within the adjustable window closer together, changing their frequencies and resulting in harmonic differences from subtle to drastic. So let's try that. I'm going to click window, cluster. And you can see this already here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going back to the default. Let's just again select harmonic. And again, let's try cluster. And I'm going to set the ratio. And again, we can play with the number of partials. The more partials, the more complex the sound will be, the more dense it will be. And then last, we also have shepherd mode. And the shepherd mode refers to the audio illusion, which complex sound seems to be internally rising or falling in pitch, even though the bass frequency is unchanged. So again, you can read a lot of these items in the user manual, of course, but let's experiment. Now this gives me an idea. Let's modulate that with with envelope 2. Start here. And again, what we can do is click the plus here, set this all the way to 1. and we can set this to 256. Very nice. So you can experiment with that, create some very cool sounds. So I think that is it for the Harmonic Engine. I really hope that was helpful for you. And let's do some more videos on Pigments version 3 in the near future. Let me know in the comments what you want to know about Pigments, and also check my channel for the videos that I have already covering most of the things that are included in Pigments in version 1 and 2. And that's it. Thank you. Okay, so that was a quick overview of what's new in Pigments 3. I hope you enjoyed this one. Of course, if you have any question or anything at all, leave comments below this video and I'll be happy to answer. And of course, again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. And that's it. I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.